Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the English Podcast Zone. This is episode 13, and today we've got something really special. We're going to dive deep into one of the scariest, most stressful situations for English learners, the job interview.
That's right. Interviews are tough enough in your native language. But when you have to do them in English, suddenly you're not only thinking about your skills and experience, you're also worrying about grammar, vocabulary, pronunciation, and confidence.
Exactly. But don't worry. Today, we're going to break this down step by step. You'll hear real interview questions, sample answers, and we'll analyze everything together. By the end of this episode, you'll have practical tools, phrases, and strategies to sound professional and confident in any job interview.
And the best part? This is going to feel like practice. You can listen to us, pause, repeat, and even answer out loud with us. So imagine you're right here with us, preparing for your next interview.
Oh, and just in case this is your first time tuning in, welcome. I'm Emma.
And I'm David. Together, we help learners all over the world improve their English through natural conversation, practical topics, and just a little bit of humor.
Just a little bit.
Okay, maybe a lot sometimes.
True. Anyway, today we're serious because job interviews can really change lives. So let's not waste any time. Let's jump into section 1, understanding job interviews. All right, before we practice answering questions, let's step back and talk about what job interviews actually are. What's the purpose? Why do they exist?
Good question. Many learners think interviews are simply about proving you can do the job, but that's only half the story. Interviews are also about showing your personality, communication skills, and confidence. Employers want to know, can this person work well with others? Can they represent the company? Will they fit into our culture?
Yes. In other words, interviews are not just a test of knowledge. They're a conversation. The interviewer already knows some things about you. They've seen your resume or CV. The interview is about bringing that paper to life.
Exactly. And that's why practicing in English is so important. You're not memorizing a speech. You're learning how to have a conversation that feels professional but natural.
So let's talk about the different types of interviews. Listeners, if you're taking notes, here are the 3 most common ones.
Phone interviews, often short, maybe 15 to 30 minutes, usually the first step. They want to check your communication and basic qualifications.
Online or video interviews, very common today. Tools like Zoom, Microsoft Teams, or Google Meet. You need to think about body language, eye contact, and technical setup.
And in-person interviews, the traditional style, usually longer, sometimes with multiple interviewers.
And within these types, you also have different styles. For example, traditional Q&A. The interviewer asks questions, you answer. Panel interview. Several people interviewing you at once. Behavioral question. They ask how you handled situations in the past, usually with the STAR method.
STAR method, that's a good one. We'll come back to that later in the episode. But let's pause here and give our listeners some key vocabulary.
Yes. Okay, repeat after me, everyone. Resume or CV, your document of work history. Candidate, the person applying for the job. Hiring manager, the person responsible for choosing who gets hired. Panel, a group of interviewers. Behavioral question, a question about how you acted in a past situation.
Nice. And here's one more. Soft skills. These are skills like communication, teamwork, leadership. They're different from technical skills like computer programming or accounting.
That's an important distinction. Many learners think interviews are only about technical knowledge. But honestly, employers often care more about soft skills, especially how well you communicate in English.
And that's where practicing with us today comes in. We're going to make sure you don't just know the vocabulary, but also how to use it naturally.
Exactly. Now, let's talk about the psychology of interviews. Why do they feel so scary?
Because they're high stakes. A job can change your life, better salary, more opportunities, maybe even moving abroad. So the pressure is intense. On top of that, interviews are usually short. You have maybe 30 to 60 minutes to make a great impression.
Yes, and for English learners, that time pressure can make your mind go blank. Suddenly, you forget simple words, or you translate too slowly from your native language.
But here's the secret. Interviewers understand you're human. They don't expect perfect English. What they want is clarity, confidence, and positivity.
That's so true. Even native speakers make mistakes in interviews. They say, they forget examples, they get nervous. So don't worry if you're not perfect. Focus on connecting and communicating.
Exactly. And that's our mission today, to give you phrases, strategies, and confidence.
Okay, before we move into our first role play interview, let's quickly go over do's and don'ts. These are golden rules you should always remember.
All right, listeners, write these down. Do's. Do research the company. Do practice common questions. Do prepare examples of your achievements. Do dress appropriately. Do smile and make eye contact.
And the don'ts. Don't memorize robotic answers. Don't speak negatively about past jobs. Don't interrupt the interviewer. Don't panic if you forget a word, just paraphrase. Don't use slang or overly casual language.
Perfect. I especially love the last one, paraphrasing. If you forget the word efficient, you can say, I work quickly and with good results. That's paraphrasing, and it's a lifesaver in interviews.
Yes, and we'll practice that too. Okay, I think we've set the stage. We understand what interviews are, why they're important, and what to expect.
So, are you ready for the fun part?
Role play time?
Role play time.
All right, listeners. In the next section, David and I will simulate a real job interview. One of us will be the interviewer, and the other will be the candidate. After each question and answer, we'll break it down for you. Vocabulary, grammar, tone, everything.
This is where the magic happens. Ready?
Let's do it. All right, listeners, welcome back. We're now entering our first big practice session. In this role play, I'll play the interviewer and David will be the job candidate. We'll go through some of the most common interview questions. After each question and answer, we'll pause and analyze what just happened so you can understand the language, the structure, and the strategy behind a good response.
Exactly. And listeners, remember, don't just listen. Try to speak out loud. When Emma asks a question, pause the episode and try answering it yourself before listening to my example. That way, you're actually practicing, not just passively listening.
Yes, active practice makes all the difference. Okay, let's begin. Imagine this is a job interview for a marketing assistant position at an international company. So, David, can you start by telling me a little about yourself?
Of course. Thank you for the opportunity to interview today. My name is David Johnson. I'm originally from Canada, but I've been living in London for the past 3 years. I studied business administration at the University of Toronto, where I developed a strong interest in marketing and communications. In my last position, I worked as a marketing coordinator at a small tech company. My main responsibilities included creating social media content, analyzing campaign performance, and coordinating with the sales team. I really enjoyed helping the company grow its online presence and connect with new customers. Outside of work, I enjoy creative activities like photography and blogging, which I believe also help me bring fresh ideas into my professional life. Overall, I'd describe myself as motivated, creative, and eager to keep learning.
Okay, let's pause. This is such an important question because it almost always comes first. David's answer is a great example. Notice a few things. Polite start. He began with, "Thank you for the opportunity to interview today." That shows professionalism. Structure. His answer had 3 parts: background, where he's from, education, work experience, and personal touch, hobbies and qualities.
Yes, and notice I didn't tell my life story. Interviewers don't need to know everything from childhood. Keep it professional, relevant, and positive.
Great point. Okay, listeners, your turn. Pause the podcast and try answering this question yourself. Remember the three-part structure: background, work, and personal qualities. Thanks, David. Now, why do you want to work at our company?
That's a great question. I've been following your company for a while, and I really admire the innovative campaigns you've done in the past few years. I know that you've recently expanded into new international markets, and I'm excited about the opportunity to contribute to that growth. I also value your company culture. Collaboration, creativity, and continuous learning are very important to me, and I see that those are also values your company promotes. So I feel this is the right environment where I can both contribute and continue developing my own skills.
Okay, let's break this down. Many candidates make the mistake of answering this with something selfish like, because I need a job, or because I want more money. But David did two important things: showed knowledge of the company. He mentioned campaigns, expansion, culture. That proves he researched. Connected his goals with the company's values. He said collaboration and creativity are important to him, which matches with the company values. So I feel this is the right environment where I can both contribute and continue developing my own skills.
Exactly. A good formula for this question is show you know the company, show how your goals or values align, end with enthusiasm for contributing.
Listeners, write this formula down. It works every time. So, David, can you tell me about your strengths?
Sure, I'd say one of my main strengths is communication. In my last role, I often worked with both the marketing and sales teams, so I had to explain complex ideas clearly to different types of people. Another strength is creativity. I enjoy finding new ways to present information and engage audiences. Finally, I'd add adaptability. In today's fast-changing environment, I think it's important to stay flexible. For example, when our company suddenly shifted from in-person events to online webinars during the pandemic, I quickly learned new software and helped lead the transition.
This was excellent. Notice that David gave 3 strengths, not just one. And he gave a real-life example for one of them: adaptability. That makes the answer more believable.
Right. If you just say, I'm hardworking, I'm a team player, it sounds generic. But if you give examples, the interviewer remembers you.
Yes, show, don't just tell.
Thank you. And now, what would you say is your biggest weakness?
Well, one area I've been working on is public speaking. In the past, I sometimes felt nervous when presenting in front of large groups. To improve, I joined a local Toastmasters club where I practice giving speeches every month. I've already noticed a big improvement, and I feel much more confident now.
This is a classic tough question. Many learners panic here. But look at David's strategy. He chose a real weakness, not something fake like, I work too hard. He immediately showed what he's doing to improve. He ended on a positive note. He's getting better.
Exactly. Interviewers don't want to hear that you're perfect. They want honesty and self-awareness. But they also want to see that you take action to improve yourself.
So remember, weakness plus improvement plan equals strong answer. Okay, let's talk about the future. Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
In 5 years, I see myself growing within your company and taking on more responsibility and marketing strategy. I'd like to build on my current skills and eventually lead projects that involve international markets. At the same time, I want to continue learning, whether that's through professional training, mentorship, or new challenges. My long-term goal is to be in a leadership position where I can help guide a team and create impactful campaigns.
Perfect. This answer shows ambition, but also loyalty to the company. Interviewers worry that you might leave after 1 year, so it's important to mention growth within the company.
Yes, but don't say something unrealistic like, in 5 years, I want to be CEO. That sounds naive. Show ambition, but keep it believable.
Thank you, David. Do you have any questions for us?
Yes, I do. I'd love to know more about the team I would be working with. How large is the marketing department, and how do you usually collaborate with the sales and product teams?
Yes, listeners, please don't forget this part. At the end of almost every interview, they will ask if you have questions. If you say, no, I'm fine, it makes you look uninterested.
Right. Asking questions shows you're curious and serious about the role.
Some great questions include, what does success look like in this role? What are the biggest challenges the team is facing right now? How does the company support professional development?
Those are great ones.
So, that was our basic interview role play. Let's quickly summarize the strategies we saw. For tell me about yourself, use a 3-part structure. For why do you want to work here, connect your goals with the company's values. For strengths, give at least 2 or 3 with examples. For weaknesses, be honest but show improvement. For 5 years, show ambition and loyalty. For questions for us, always prepare thoughtful ones.
Yes, and remember, listeners, practice out loud. Record yourself. Compare your answers to ours. The more you practice, the more natural it will feel in a real interview.
Exactly. In the next section, we'll go deeper with an advanced interview role play where we'll look at behavioral questions using the STAR method. But for now, take a deep breath, maybe even repeat role play 1 with your own answers, and we'll see you in the next round.
Welcome back, everyone. We just finished our first big role play of a job interview. Now it's time to slow down and reflect. Because here's the thing. Many English learners prepare for interviews, but they keep repeating the same mistakes.
Yes, and the good news is, once you know these mistakes, you can avoid them. And that alone can make you stand out as a much stronger candidate.
Exactly. So today we'll go through the top mistakes English learners make in interviews, and we'll give you clear corrections and practical tips. Ready?
Let's do it.
All right, mistake number 1, giving very short answers. For example, imagine I ask, why do you want this job? And the candidate says, because I like marketing.
Yeah, not enough. That answer is too short. It doesn't show enthusiasm, knowledge of the company, or personal motivation.
Right. Interviewers need details. A good answer should be around 40 to 90 seconds. That's long enough to explain, but not so long that you lose focus.
So the correction would be, I want this job because I've followed your company's campaigns for several years, and I admire your creativity. I also feel my background in digital content and social media matches the direction your team is going in.
Perfect. That's specific, enthusiastic, and relevant. Mistake number 2, memorizing answers like a robot. Many learners write down perfect sentences, memorize them, and then in the interview, they sound unnatural.
Yes, we can hear it immediately. It's like pressing play on a recorder.
Exactly. And the danger is, if the interviewer changes the question slightly, the memorized answer doesn't work anymore.
So what's the tip here?
Focus on structures, not scripts. For example, instead of memorizing, my strength is communication because I learned the structure, strength plus example plus result. That way, you can adapt to any question.
Love that. Think in patterns, not paragraphs.
Here's another big one. Speaking too fast. Many learners think, if I speak quickly, I'll sound fluent. But actually, it usually makes you harder to understand.
Yes, exactly. Fluency is not speed. Fluency is smoothness and clarity.
So the correction here is slow down, use pauses, and emphasize key words. For example, instead of rushing, I'm creative, I like working in teams, I love marketing. Say, I'm creative, I like working in teams, and I really love marketing.
Beautiful. Short sentences, natural pauses, confident tone.
Mistake 4, being too negative. For example,
I left my last job because my boss was terrible.
ouch, red flag. Even if it's true, you should never complain about past employers. It makes you sound unprofessional.
Exactly. Instead, reframe it positively. Say, I left my last job because I wanted more opportunities to grow and take on new challenges.
Same truth, but a positive spin. We touched on this earlier, but it's worth repeating. Many candidates forget to ask their own questions at the end.
Yes, and that's such a missed opportunity. It's your chance to show curiosity and enthusiasm.
So prepare at least 2 questions in advance. For example, what qualities do your most successful employees have? How does your team measure success?
And avoid selfish questions like salary or vacation in the first interview. Save that for later rounds.
Another mistake we often see is mispronouncing key professional words. For example, many learners say resume instead of resume.
Oh yes, and another one, comfortable instead of comfortable.
These little details matter because they show polish.
So the tip is, make a list of 10 to 15 common interview words like resume, opportunity, strength, weakness, responsibility, and practice saying them out loud.
Here's one learners often overlook: body language.
Yes, even in a video interview. If you look bored, tired, or nervous, your words lose impact.
Exactly. Smiling, nodding, making eye contact, these small things show confidence.
Listeners, practice in front of a mirror or record yourself. You'll be surprised how much friendlier and confident you look when you remember to smile.
All right, let's recap with a quick fire round. I'll name the mistake and you give the tip. Ready?
Ready.
Short answers.
Make them longer, 40 to 90 seconds with details.
Memorize scripts.
Learn structures, not paragraphs.
Speaking too fast.
Slow down, use pauses.
Negative language.
Reframe into positives.
No questions.
Always prepare at least 2.
Pronunciation issues.
Practice key interview words.
Poor body language.
Smile, eye contact, confident posture.
Perfect. So those are the biggest mistakes and the corrections. If you can avoid just half of these, you'll already be ahead of most candidates.
Yes, and remember, interviews are not about perfection. They're about communication, connection, and confidence.
Exactly. And with practice, you can improve all of these areas.
All right, listeners, take a short break if you need to. In the next section, we're going to step it up. Roleplay 2, Advanced Interview. We'll tackle the difficult behavioral questions using the STAR method.
It's going to be challenging, but really powerful. See you there. So friends, today we've taken a deep journey into the world of job interviews in English. We started by understanding what interviews really are. We practiced a full basic interview roleplay, and we also explored the most common mistakes learners make and how to avoid them.
Exactly. Remember, interviews are not about being perfect. They're about showing who you are, what you can contribute, and communicating with confidence. Even small improvements in your answers, tone, and body language can make a huge difference.
And we really encourage you to practice. Don't just listen. Pause, repeat, and try answering the questions in your own words. The more you practice, the more natural it will feel when the real interview comes.
Yes, and keep in mind, every interview is also a learning experience. Even if you don't get the job, you're still improving your English, your confidence, and your skills for the next opportunity.
Beautifully said. And that's what we're here for, to help you grow step by step.
All right, that brings us to the end of episode 13 of the English Podcast Zone.
Thank you so much for listening, practicing, and learning with us today. If you found this episode helpful, share it with a friend who's preparing for an interview in English.
And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss our next episode, where we'll be diving even deeper into advanced interview techniques in real-life role plays.
Until then, keep practicing, keep believing in yourself, and remember, every word you speak brings you closer to your goals.
Take care, everyone, and good luck with your interviews.
Bye for now.